Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Commander Clash podcast, where the Commander Clash crew discusses Commander-related topics. New Capenna just came out, and last week on the podcast, we discussed the brand new cards that we're personally most hyped for from the Standard set. And this week, we are going to be discussing the cards that came out in the Commander pre-constructed decks, and also the collector booster sets, or the ones that are not in standard legal. The non-standard legal cards from New Capenna is what I'm trying to get at. The ones that we're most hyped for. So just like before, we did a top 12 where each of us have picked 3 cards that we want to bring to the table to discuss that we're hyped for. This is not a power ranking scale, just to have a disclaimer out there. This is not like the most powerful cards from New Capenna. That's not what we're about. We're just talking about the cards that we are personally hyped for, that we want to play with first when they become available to us, if at all, because when we play on Magic Online, sometimes not all the Commander cards show up online. But here's hoping. Wizards of the Coast, if you're listening, please, just one time.
What is that mockery tone, Tomer? What do you?
No,
Modem
I'm
has
just
everything
saying.
every time. What are you talking about?
Actually,
no, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. We constantly don't miss stuff from the Commander sets all the time. So.
No. Well, the Kamigawa ones, I think we got all the cards, right? So this might be.
Wow.
We might be back at it.
The technology is here.
Yeah. Joining me, as always, by the way, is the Asian Avenger, also known as Krim. How's it going?
Hello. Krim? Hi. I'm doing all right. I'm excited just because Streets of Capenna brought a lot of. I'm trying this new shard out. It's called Grixis.
Yeah.
So it's brand new. I'm not really
a
fan of it.
Maestros.
The Maestros. There it is. See, I'm just so new to it. I don't even know what it is. So I'm just excited.
Yeah, I'm excited as well. Seth, probably better known as Saffron Olive, or probably better known as Seth. I don't know which one. How's it going, Seth? What's up?
I'm doing better. I had a little cold going on, but I'm feeling a lot better, and I'm excited to talk about these cards because I don't know how I feel about the decks overall out of the box this time around, but the individual cards in these precons and in the set boosters they're so good. They're so good. So definitely hyped.
I definitely agree to that. Richard, a.k.a. the site owner, a.k.a. we don't have a nickname for you, actually, Richard. What would you like to be called nickname?
His nickname is
a.k.a. Richard.
No, yeah.
What about the goldfish?
The goldfish.
The only fish, right?
The fish father.
The fish father.
The fish father.
Oh,
there it
because
is.
it's Capenna.
He's a dad,
Yes.
and he's a dad and Capenna.
He's yeah.
It's a 2-for-1. The fish father.
The fish father.
It's either a daughter. You could do the whole thing. Come to my daughter's wedding.
You say all I hear is I like fish sticks. You guys remember that?
I remember that. We're not going to get to that on this podcast, though, Richard. We're keeping it PG. All right, and final hello, this is Sorer. I don't have a nickname either. All right, I know I'm the budget commander. Yeah,
Dr. Anime.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
You're Dr. Anime.
I don't know what that is.
Every season, I come to you. I'm like, Tomer, oh great Tomer, Dr. Anime. What do you prescribe this season to watch?
And every single time, it's Dragon Ball Z. It's the only anime I know.
That or King of the Hill, right?
Oh yeah,
BoJack.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to be talking about the top 12 cards. Before we do that, though, one thing you can do to support the channel and help us grow, you can like and subscribe on wherever you're listening to this podcast, be it iTunes, be it Spotify, be it YouTube, whatever the equivalent is of liking and subscribing on that platform. Please do that, and it helps the channel grow. The other way you can help support the channel is you can purchase all the beautiful playmats stapled on Richard's wall by going to the mtggoldfishmerch.com store. You can buy playmats, deck sleeves, deck boxes, apparel, such as t-shirts and whatnot, over at mtggoldfishmerch.com. All right, with all of that out of the way, Seth, take it away. What is the first card that you are hyped for from this set?
Oh, we got a good one. This card is so incredibly cool. And that card is Resourceful Defense. It's a 3-mana enchantment. And it says whenever a permanent you control leaves the battlefield, if it had counters on it, put those counters on target permanent you control, and you can pay 5 mana to move any number of counters from target permanent you control to another target permanent you control. So at first glance, this is kind of like White Ozolith, but it's really so much more than that. This card does so many, it does stuff we've never seen before in the game's entire history. This works with any permanent. The Ozolith only works with creatures, and it's really sweet with creatures. This does the same thing, but because it works with any permanent, it works with planeswalkers. Like, that's a really easy way to abuse it. You can, there's even planeswalkers that blink themselves. This isn't a death trigger. This is just leaves the battlefield. There's like Kaya, the original Kaya. You can blink it, and you're getting 5 loyalty counters on another planeswalker to ultimate. Same with Venser, can do shenanigans like that. So it's sweet there. It's sweet with like sagas. Those are permanents. They get counters that you can move around and store up. And it's like this janky combo piece that just does really sweet things. Winning the game with oh no, I can't think of the name. What's the one that stores up 20 charge counters?
Darksteel Reactor. I was going to ask you.
This is like
this is what you're going to do.
Oh
with
yeah,
it. You're just a charge counter junkie. That's what you are.
I love charge counters. So this is actually a way to win with Darksteel Reactor. It's really sweet with some like Dark Depth shenanigans. Sometimes just removing all the counters from something offers a lot of value. You get your merit lage out of it. And what I really am doing with this is trying to not win the game, but draw the game with Divine Intervention. This is 2-card draw the game combo. Just yoink the counters out of there. I love this card. It's just so fun. I think it's actually legit powerful, and people will play it and do strong things with it, but it also has just so much jank potential to just do really cool things that we've never seen before.
This is going right into my Amanatu deck. Like, it's just going right in there. Oh, Amanatu blinking your own planeswalker, and then just doing so many things with it. This is such a cool card. This is such a cool. Okay, would it be too busted if you could remove counters from anything? That'd be so wild.
Just like steal your opponent's counters.
Like just like reset someone's counters or something like that.
That might be pretty good.
But like, okay, so counter argument to this though is, can you pay, like, it doesn't cost a lot, so I guess that's pretty good. But like, can you just pay 3 and put this out there?
Yeah. I mean, if you're a deck that's built around it, it's only 3. It's not like it's 8 or something. So I think that
do you think
that it's
this
pretty
draws
fairly
you
costed.
aggro?
If you're playing Super Friends, yes. Yeah. So if you're playing Super Friends, like,
so if you're Crim,
if you're playing like a Saga deck or a +1/+1 counter deck, this isn't something I'm overly concerned about. Like, it's good, but it's I don't think something where you're going to immediately become arch enemy. If you're playing Super Friends, though, I think you have to immediately arch enemy, because it's just so easy to win the game by ultimating a Planeswalker with this. If I see this, I'm expecting you to win the next turn in a Super Friends deck.
Joke's on you, Seth. My decks never win.
It's kind of like
they just
like
try
mind
not to
delving
die.
too,
They just try not to die.
Yeah, in Super Friends, it's kind of like a delving season. The activated ability is expensive. It's 5, so it is a bit slow. I think the flexibility here, though, is what really makes it really interesting. Like Seth said, there's like a billion different ways of using it. Yes, you can do it with loyalty counters, but like charge counters as well, divinity counters as well. Just like a lot of fun options with it. It is 5 mana again to move it around, so it is going to take a significant chunk of your turn to actually do that, unless you're swimming in mana. But I think it's worth it. Like, whatever you're going to do with it is going to be very sweet.
And really, like, even without the 5 mana mode, I kind of view that as like this fringe upside that I might use sometimes. In some decks, if I'm trying to like draw the game with Divine Intervention or something, that is the big deal.
Yeah.
But in a lot of decks, if you're playing just a regular counter stack, just using it like an Ozolith, where you can have something die and move the counters onto another thing, I think even that's good enough if you don't spend the mana in a lot of the less janky decks that could play this.
I mean, the passive is worth it, right? Like, if you have like a Nicol Bolas or like some planeswalker that can kill itself, right? You can just plus kill itself, move it to another planeswalker and ultimate, right? And that costs you 3 mana. So
Yeah.
I think that is strong enough. You don't actually need that 5 mana. I'm sure there's shenanigans where you can move like counters onto something that makes mana and then like somehow go infinite or do something wacky here. So it just seems insanely strong. If you put a shield counter on it, is it indestructible?
Yeah, that's actually the most hilarious thing that we didn't talk about. Yes. One of the things you can do with this that's so funny is you can like take a death touch counter from a creature and put it on like a pestilence or something and give your enchantment death touch. So then you activate your pestilence and it wipes out the entire board. Like it does just so many things that we've never seen before in the game's entire history.
Yeah.
Like that didn't exist. Yeah.
Yeah. And planeswalkers having a shield counter will be fun too. So
yeah, all that it gives.
Yeah, it's any permanent.
It shouldn't be able, like, it does stuff that you shouldn't be able to do under the Magic's rules, and then all of a sudden your enchantments are getting lifelink and your planeswalkers are getting shield counters. It's so cool.
I have bad news for you, Seth. We will never see this on Moto. What are the odds that we see this on Moto and then it actually
Yeah,
works?
the more we talk
funny.
about it, the less I imagine this hitting Moto.
The
This is the
Ozolith
most
works.
bittersweet podcast because of that. It's like,
Yeah.
I don't know if we're going to see any of these cards.
Prove us wrong, please.
No, but we got all the Kamigawa ones, and we didn't expect that, right? Remember, that was
But the
a beautiful
Kamigawa
thing.
interactions aren't like this. I think this card breaks Moto. There's no way day one this doesn't break Moto.
I mean, they made Ozolith work. This is does a lot more weird things, but maybe they
Ozolith,
can
I
make
think
it work.
you can make work. This I don't know. I mean, maybe, but like
I believe.
I'd like to believe. I'd like to believe. So
Fingers crossed.
Otherwise, it's going to be the saddest podcast for all of us.
yeah, just none of these make it.
Yeah. All right. Karim, what is the card that you are very hyped for from the Commander sets?
Right. Yes. So the card I'm most excited for, or one of them, I didn't put this in a specific order of like hype or anything. These are just the top 3 cards that I'm really excited for. And so my first one is Change of Plans, X1 in blue. Each of X target creatures you control connive. You may have any number of them phase out. So I love the ability to connive, and the phasing out is the big part here. I already love March of the Swirling Mists. And when Richard talked about it, I was like, okay, well, clearly I'm on the right path if Richard's playing it, right? So, March of the Swirling Mist is sweet, but now I get to connive and then also just phase X amount of my creatures. I don't have to, but I could. So as we get the farewells and better sweepers and better answers in Commander, I want to be able to protect my board. And this is like the perfect thing for someone like, again, I don't really like playing these tribes like ninjas, rogues, or fairies. But like hypothetically, I hate those tribes. But if I did like them hypothetically, right, I would totally jam the crap out of this card in there. It protects all of them. It's so perfect. And I get to connive. Ow! I love connive. I think it's such a cool ability.
I like phase out, but I don't like this card because you can't use it offensively. You can't phase out your opponent's creatures. So I think March of the
You're
Swirling
always
Mist-
unblockable in rogues. Like the tempo decks, you're always unblockable.
No, but
or
what if someone's killing you for lethal and you're like, I need to phase that out to not die? Like the other phase out cards give that optionality.
They do.
Which I
They
think
do.
is higher upside than conniving. Like I don't know that conniving is worth all of this. And plus, March of the Swirling Mist, you can exile cards, right? So you can actually
Right.
save your team with like 1 mana, whereas this you actually need a ton of mana. So while I agree with you, phase out will be the most OP thing going forward in 2022. I think we have better phase out cards. So, but we'll see.
But
Maybe
this-
we really need to overload on phase out cards, and I can see you putting this in.
I love overloading on phase out cards. Like I know that my humans deck doesn't have the ability to like use like March, but good lord, I pack that thing with indestructible and as many like ways to make it so my board doesn't die. And that's the same with how I build my tempo decks, right? And like the nice thing about this is like just more redundancy. Again, just having more redundancy is why I love this. Not because I think that connive is better than March's like offensive abilities, but just because I think just having more effects like this is what a tempo deck could use. Being able to phase out my tokens like from Bitter Blossom or something like that, that's big.
Gosh, I wouldn't want to lose those 1/1s. That'd be a shame.
I don't. Amassing an army takes a lot of work. My little little 1/1 blue men. I want to keep them. My unblockables. So
I do think connive is a big upside. Like looting a bunch of times is an upside. It's growing your creatures, which is also nice. So it's kind of like a weird pump spell. I don't know if that makes it better than March's Swirling Mist, but I do think this card's pretty sweet. I also am starting to wonder, though, like, with how much phase out stuff we're getting, sooner or later you are going to have to start making choices. Like, how many of these effects can you play in your deck? Which one am I going to play? Which one's right for my archetype? So I think we are heading that direction because we're just getting so much phase out stuff. But I would definitely play this in, like, especially a graveyard style deck where I can take advantage of the conniving, like if I'm reanimating or have other graveyard synergies, or something like Hanada. This seems like a really easy inclusion per next Hanada, and you get the Hanada discount if you target a bunch of stuff, which is cool. So I think there's certainly uses for it, for sure.
I don't know, I like it that much. I mean, I like it if you're in a deck that can really utilize the looting or the +1/+1 counters, but it's minimum 3 mana to cast it and get any value out of it to target one of your own creatures, and it can't target your opponent's creatures, which I feel like the lack of flexibility there kind of hurts it. I think Richard the group sold me on the 1 mana phase out one and the March's Swirling Mist. This one's a little bit tougher. I can see there's some decks that would like it. Any sort of graveyard deck. So like the Mirror Rogues, I think, should be able to get good value out of it because you're in black, so you can reanimate your own things that you connive off of. But it's 3 mana. It's 3 mana to save like one creature.
Oh, no. Like you're passing the turn, you're leaving up your mana like in these decks anyways, right? Because you're playing flash, you're playing at instant speed. So I think on average, okay, if you have 3, okay, I know I often have 3 mana, but actually these tempo decks do draw more than 3 mana. And being able to, like, seriously, the conniving X amount of times and pumping your board is really good on, like, decks that have a bunch of little low to the ground or, like, evasive creatures. Like, it starts adding up and getting a lot of chip damage in there. And I think that's being overlooked, that these counters are very nice.
I do have a question.
They're good in Crim decks.
I do have a question about these cards, though. Like, these blue ones, if you can't target your opponent's stuff, are you not better off just playing a counter spell? Like, if your concern is, like, their Farewell's going to get my board, is a counter spell just a better way to deal with that if you can't use it offensively?
Believe it or not, no. So, as I've said before, I think the biggest thing and the biggest selling point for these effects is that I can benefit from a board wipe. I want you to resolve that
you
board
one-sided
wipe.
board wipes if you
Combo.
pull this off.
Yeah,
right.
Okay.
Every single time a heroic intervention is responded to by a board wipe, and then everybody else loses all their board, and we just cry a little bit.
Yeah.
All right. Fair
That's
enough.
the biggest appeal, and that way you save your counterspell for whatever your opponent's actually trying to do.
That's fair. But then you still need to like commit like 6 mana or something, whereas like heroic intervention.
Oh, blue doesn't pay for their counterspells anymore. You know that?
Yeah, that's true.
We're just gonna get Fierce Guardianship 2, except it's just gonna hit anything.
We're Change of Planes, but you just don't pay mana for it if you have a commander out.
For the next
That's what I'm
Guardianship
looking for.
cycle, or I do hope that exists though.
All right, moving on. Richard, what is a card that you are super hyped for from this set?
All right. Benny Brax, Zoologist. 3 and a white, 3/2, a legendary creature, elf druid, convoke. At the beginning of each end step, if you created a token this turn, draw a card. A token. Not a creature token. A token. So if you were to play, like, I don't know, a Smothering Tide, I'm pretty sure you just win the game right here. As you get unlimited mana and unlimited cards. There's just so many things that make tokens on everyone's turns. Keeper of the Accord, something like that. If you have a sack out, you can keep it going forever. This card is insane. I don't know what they're doing, but like white has too much card draw now. Like, what is going on with this? Like, I don't know why they had to make it so easy. And you can convoke this thing out. Like, what? Right? So I don't know what they're doing with this, but I think this card is absolutely the bomb. And with treasures being so prevalent, it is not hard to make tokens nowadays. You don't even have to be a token deck. You just need to make treasures, right? Like, it's not that difficult.
This card is cracked. This card is straight up
actually
cracked.
This card is actually
Benny
insane.
Cracks, dude. Benny Cracks is like legitimately absurd. I think this is a very powerful card, and it's going to be like pretty much a staple, I think, in a majority of white decks. So are there decks that don't want this? Because like go wide decks can get it down even earlier, and those go wide decks are probably even token decks. So why like.
You do have to make tokens. Like,
Yeah,
you do have to make tokens. I don't think you can just be like, oh, my whatever white deck has a Smothering Tithe in it, so that's going to work out or
my
something.
Angel Tribal has a Smothering Tithe.
Yeah,
but
so
Angel
I think you
Tribal
gotta...
decks, like mono white and one, they make tokens. A lot of tokens now. Like lots of angels make tokens or spirit tokens or anything along those lines. Like things just make tokens, like Richard had mentioned. Like it literally just blink an eye and it'll make a token, right? Like that's what it does now. So is it really that unheard of?
How many token producers do you want to feel comfortable putting this in your deck? You're playing mono white. How many ways to make tokens do you need before you're putting this in your deck? I assume they have to be mostly repeatable. I think like raise the alarm style effects that are like, oh, here's a one-shot burst of tokens. It's fine, but it's not like super exciting. What's your number?
I mean, I would say like about like 10 to 12.
Okay.
I would play it like 10 to 12.
Bars still have like Smothering Tithe and like, I don't know, like
Like
one food maker
know.
or something. You don't like, you just need one token to cycle this bad boy, right? And he convokes. You don't even pay mana to cast this thing, right? It convokes itself out, right? So I think the upside is so high for such little downside. Remember, you're playing white. We have a lot of weenies to convoke this out, right? Like it's like free, right? But we gotta look at the staples. How many tokens do we make just off of white staples? But like Smothering Tithe and
you
like
say
Keeper of the Accord is close.
A staple, like, because like one of the biggest reprints I think that has come out of all of these like precon decks is Castle Ardenvale.
We gotta revisit that. The ranking
Pay
just went
5
up.
mana, draw a card. Wow, what a value.
I get made fun of that all the time. No one lets me
But
pay
now
5 to
there's a
draw a
reason.
card without mockery.
Pay 5, draw a card.
Saying
But
that
remember-
much needed,
Thank you.
like the community when the sets got released, they were like, we finally got the reprint we've been asking for. Throw those dual lands out of the way. Castle Ardenvale, here it is.
This is not a mono white card. You can play with other colors that make ample tokens,
Black,
like
white?
a Tireless
Yeah, you can put this in a
Tracker,
99.
Tender Shoot Dryad or whatever, right? Like there are plenty of things that just spew out tokens, which you can jam this into your deck. So this is not like a mono white card. You can pair it with any token producing deck.
I mean, you play this in
might be
every
the best-
token deck. No even question. Like, it is ultra staple in tokens. Like, I don't even think that's up for debate. I think the more interesting part for me is, like, do you jam it in whatever, Light Paws or something, on the argument that, like, I got Smothering Tithe, I got a Castle Ardenvale in my mana base, like, I'm going to make this work. I think that's where it becomes a little bit more interesting.
I don't
If
think
it doesn't draw me a
Light
card
Paws-
every single turn cycle, I'm not interested in it. And there's going to be a lot of decks that just don't do that. Like, if you
Paws
just take
is
a
one of
random
them,
mono
sure.
white deck and you have a Smothering Tithe, it's like, well, yeah, the nuts is when you have Smothering Tithe. But when you don't have Smothering Tithe, it's like what we're always talking about, like how we have a mono white deck has Farewell in it. Well, it does have Farewell in it, but am I going to draw it this game? I don't know. Maybe.
I think that we're overlooking how easy it is to make a token in a non-token deck.
Like, well, give me some, other than Smothering Tithe and Castle Ardenvale, give me a couple of cards that actually do this. So, because I'm probably just not thinking of them.
I'm trying to look through my white decks to see like what actually makes a token by default.
So, do you, like, example, does the token have to enter, let me see here. So the token has to enter your side of the board, right?
Yes.
If you created a token, yeah.
Oh, so then, so example, like, if I created a token, Generous Gift, does that not?
I believe your
Yes.
opponent creates a token, right? What is the wording
yeah,
on
you need to
generous
generate
gift?
a gift yourself if you
Yeah.
want that to
Oh, okay,
happen.
okay. So, well, then,
That's also just a one shot. Yeah, you just
We're not-
added draw a card onto your Genesis script if you target yourself with it.
that's not that bad. Like, when you have, like, if you can
That's
make
worth
enough. if you can make enough passive things, like, so, like, I assume if we're talking mono white, Adeline exists, and that's kind of like, recursive, right? That happens almost every combat stuff.
This is a great
Adeline's
Adeline,
a token deck.
That's
This
only
is
one
like,
during your turn.
No,
right?
Adeline you can play outside of a token deck. I would totally play it in black white, right? Like humans, I play Adeline.
Yes.
I like, and like Felidar Retreat is something you can play. That one's probably closer to the token deck though. But yeah, like I guess just when I think of a lot of the white cards, like right off the top of my head right now, like I mean Elspeth, I would just play like in any deck that's white, right? She makes tokens. Any variant of Elspeth really makes tokens. So yeah, like there's already those cards. I don't know. I mean, like I'm just going off the top of my head, so I'll have to like figure out the rest. But sure.
Like I think Keeper of the Accord is the closest.
Oh yeah,
and, like,
Keeper
that's
of the Accord
not
exists.
That one's
played,
insane.
right? That like if you get the combo going, but Keeper's not like really that popular.
You need your opponents need to have less creatures than you, right? Like, or sorry, more creatures than you.
And it is each
So
end step, right?
It is,
each end step. Like this, like we're talking about like is it going to be good outside of token decks? And like there's some argument there, but like there's no denying that like we all agree that this card is like one of the best white card draw options ever printed, right? Like in a token deck, like this is like literally you would run it in like non-white decks easily for tokens, right?
It's like SRAM or Pure Steel Paladin. Like it's that level. It's like the like a lot of white card draw that we've talked about. Like white gets absurd card draw, but it's usually like restricted to a certain archetype. That's how I kind of view this. And maybe it's even a little better than that. Like maybe you can just get enough token producers in a random white deck to make it work. But I think at a minimum, like if you're playing tokens, not only do you play this, it's probably going to be one of the most powerful cards in your deck. It's just so good.
You say it's like, I guess it's different than Mentor of the Meek and like Welcoming Vampire, but like, is there anything that white has? I guess Esper Sentinel. Do you think this is more powerful than Esper Sentinel?
No. Esper Sentinel you can just play in any deck. Like that,
I mean,
you
this has a
literally
higher
can play
ceiling,
in any
right?
deck.
But Esper is very consistent.
In a token deck, this is better than Esper Sentinel, but just in a vacuum, I don't think it is.
Like I think you're right. It has to be a token deck, but when you say token deck, people think like creature tokens, right? But if I'm playing a red deck that makes treasures, this goes in like a Boros deck. Or if I'm playing like a blue, I don't know what I'm making, like investigate, like a green investigate or something, like a food deck, something like that, a clue deck. Yeah, like this goes in, and I think that opens up this for a lot more than like what you're thinking of like traditional like white weenie go wide decks, right?
No,
it's slightly better in weenie deck just because you can convoke it for literally for no mana. That's like relatively mild. Even if you're hard casting this for 4, it's like still punching way above its weight class. Like this card is actually insane. I'm gonna be so sad if it's not online.
This one will be online. There's no way this one doesn't make it unless
don't do that to me, Seth. Don't do that to me.
I don't think this breaks Moto. I don't think this breaks Moto.
Do you think that's a criteria on whether or not it shows?
Maybe.
Mostly, yeah.
All right. Yeah, this card is actually bananas. Another card that I think is, well, not as strong, but is probably, this is my favorite commander out of the set. And it's not mono white. Surprise, surprise. This is Jund. This is Vazi, Keen Negotiator. This is a 5 mana, 2 black, blue, or black, red, and green. That's Jund. For a 3/3 legendary creature, human advisor with haste. And she has a tap ability. It says target opponent creates X treasure tokens, where X is a number of treasure tokens you created this turn. Whenever an opponent casts a spell or activates an ability, if mana from a treasure was spent to cast or activate it, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature, then draw a card. So this is basically Jund Treasures. It highly incentivizes you to make a Jund Treasure deck, jam all the ways that you're going to be generating treasures in Jund, like your Docksides, like your Grim Hirelings, like your whatever. There's a bajillion different ways of doing it. And then you're giving your opponents some treasures as well. So it's like almost like group huggy type effect. But when your opponents use those treasures to activate whatever they're going to be using the treasures for, essentially, you got to put a +1/+1 counter on something, and you got to draw a card. And I really like this a lot because I feel this is like a super powerful politics commander where you can gain favor with somebody at the table by giving them treasures. So you're helping them out with their mana, but you're benefiting way more from that transaction because you're getting counters on stuff and you're drawing a bunch of cards in the process. And also another like style of deck that I've always wanted to play for a while now is like Jund, give your opponents artifacts and then punish them for it. I was talking about this when Blood Vial Purveyor came out, where you give people blood tokens, but there's a lot of cards out there these days, especially in Jund, where like you punish your opponents for them just having artifacts. So there's like Viridian Revel, whenever they play an artifact or an artifact like enters the battlefield under their control, you draw a card. There's like stuff that's
enchantment?
Like,
From like I used to play something like that in my Mogus deck. It was like a 2 or 3 mana enchantment. It's just like it deals damage equal to the number of artifacts they had or something like that. I think it was like Urza's Legacy or something like that. I don't know. It was an old enchantment. So there's lots of effects. I think that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, I had a Jund deck that I never actually played, but I already made like a list for it when Blood Vial Purveyor came out, and I had a bunch of like these janky little things, and then you could do stuff like prevent them from sacrificing artifacts of like Stony Silence or Collector Oof and that sort of stuff. So I think it's really cute. Is it really strong? I don't know, but I think it's cute.
I think it's definitely an interesting and a cool design. I love that aspect of it, but I find that too often I'm a little bit worried about giving my opponent any more resources than like if we're talking about like power level wise, I am very concerned. I will gladly let you draw the card if that means I get to play like Karn Liberator or something earlier, right? Or get my big bomb earlier. But design-wise, this is a sweet card. I think this is a very fun card.
It seems really fun to build around. I think it's a cool build around. I think it's probably like, I don't know. I also share Crim's concern that I don't know if I want to dockside and then be like, hey, you also get 30 treasure tokens, opponent. Like, I'm a little nervous about that. But it does seem really neat if you can build around it. If you can do the, like, punish you for getting the artifacts, get down the Viridian Revels, get down other effects like that. Fangren Marauder, I think, gains you life when an opponent has an artifact leave the battlefield. There's a bunch of pieces, so I can see a really cool deck coming out of this. But I think, I don't know. I guess you don't have to activate it. That's the other thing I kind of like about it is like just playing it as a hate card almost, where your opponent, everyone's making treasures now. Everyone's playing dockside. I wish it wasn't 5 mana, but you can just run this out and trust that your opponent's gonna make some treasures and you're gonna maybe draw some cards off of it or whatever.
Would this be broken if it had flash and then it was like maybe 3 or 4 mana?
Yeah, it'd be a lot more playable if it had flash. Like, if your opponent sees this and plays into it, you're probably not in for a good time, right? They're probably saying, like, yes, I'm about to pop off and crack all my treasures. Go ahead and draw cards. I'm going to win the game, right? And if they can't win, they just won't do it, and they'll wait until they can win. And the activated ability, I think, is negative. If there was a card that was like, opponent gets 6 mana, you draw 6 cards. Like,
Clash Week. We
slowly
all play Vazi.
I don't know how I would do that. And you can't target the weak. So the weaker player in this case would be a player with no cards. Right? Like someone behind on board or resources, you give them 6 mana, they're about to spring ahead of all of you, right? So I don't know. I think
guess just why, though?
You have to do the Punisher deck, like Tomer said, right? You give them all the artifacts and then you slap them with it, right? But you can't play it fairly. I think fairly it's going to work out poorly.
It is definitely a risk, but the one thing that is nice is you don't even have to activate the ability to get value out of it, because it's still the passive ability works on whatever treasures are being used. So if you're in a meta that has a lot of treasures, just people playing treasure decks like Prosper or whatever, you just slap down Vazi and just not activate her ability, and you'll just passively be drawing a bunch of cards and making counters off that alone, which is pretty neat.
So the saving grace is like literally every card in the set makes treasures. Like Wizards has gone ham on treasures. Like everything makes a treasure. So maybe just as a treasure hate piece, It's like good enough on its own. You don't even need to use its ability and pretend it doesn't exist.
I like that it's not as
to do that,
strong.
though.
But then I think there's an upside, though, there. Like, if you're playing a treasure deck and someone drops a Stony Silence or something, they're probably going to have to kill you or kill the Stony Silence because it just stops their deck from working. This, because it's weaker, I don't know. Even if I'm playing a treasure deck, I don't know if this is something that really troubles me. Like, sure, you get to draw some cards and make some counters, but it doesn't seem strong enough that you're going to become arch enemy or, like, have to be dealt with because you play it, which can be an upside sometimes in Commander.
You're gonna get one shot if you crack 20. If you crack 20 treasures, this thing is just a one shot commander, right? So you can't actually just go crazy. You still need to respect it a little bit.
Well, also, it's worth mentioning that, like, it's not for each treasure that's cracked. You get one. If they cast a 10 mana spell with 10 treasures, you draw a card and get a counter.
Wait, no, this is remove everything I said. This is trash. So if I pop like 20 treasures to cast an X spell, you draw one card?
Yes. Yeah.
I did not know that either. I thought it worked the way Rich.
I thought you draw 20 off of
this. It's not that good, right? But it's very funny.
Whoa! Wait, so I can give you 30 treasures and only draw one card?
If you spend it all on one spell, you get it for each spell that is cast.
Yeah, but you're gonna use a treasure here. You're gonna use a treasure there. You know, he's just.
I like your deck, Tomer. I like your deck idea, Tomer. I think your deck's gonna be really fun.
I like the idea of that.
Outside of that, I'm not sure about this card, though. Outside of that very specific deck.
Look, I think that's a cool idea, though. Yeah, like
if it makes its way onto Commander, onto Magic Online, this is one of the decks. I promise you, I will showcase on Commander. Is it a good deck? Probably not, but will it be funny? I think so, and I think it'll be funny in like a way that like the group will be like, huh?
Do a Vazi week and then just make it so that everyone plays Vazi and then just see who actually ever activates it.
We're going to make Dockside week and then Tomer's going to bring Vazi.
Yes! You thought 8.5 Tails on Mono White week was metagame. They think about Vazi week on Treasure week. Alright, moving on. We got Seth, what do you got for us next?
We're sticking with the Jund commanders, but this time we have one that I think is actually, like, legitimately scary. The Beamtown Bullies. This is a card that people have been pretty hyped about. It's caused a bunch of buyouts. It is 4 mana in the Jund colors. You get a 4/4 legendary ogre devil warrior. It has vigilance and haste, and it has an ability that lets you tap it to make target opponent whose turn it is reanimating non-legendary creature from your graveyard and goad it, and it gets haste, and it goes away at the beginning of the next end step. So essentially, this is a commander that forces an opponent to reanimate a non-legend from your graveyard, and it forces them to attack with it. So people have been buying out some of the worst cards in Magic's history, quite literally. We're talking about Levelers, we're talking about Eater of Days, we're talking about Hellcarver Demon, one of our worst mythics of all time.
Underrated, or was underrated.
And I actually, one of the things I love most, and one of the things I look for with Commander Precons, is I look for commanders that make bad cards playable. Those are my favorite commanders. The ones that all of a sudden this card that you would never use anyplace else is really good in a specific deck. And I think Beamtown Bullies is exactly that. It's a really unique, weird twist on reanimation, but I'm actually like a little scared this might be too strong. It seems very easy with this having vigilance and haste to just be like, okay, entomb, put the leveler in my graveyard, pass the turn, upkeep, tap this, like, sorry, your library's exiled, draw for your turn, gotcha. Like, is this card overpowered? Like, it's a really weird card, but I'm almost like legitimately scared that this is going to be too good and people are not going to realize it because they're thinking, oh, my deck's full of levelers, my deck's full of Hellcarver Demons, but this is actually just going to be taking people out like on turn 3 or something pretty consistently.
I do think that the
main phase, and you still have to like, it still has to like deal the combat damage, right? Oh wait, no, leveler is just like straight up.
That's an
right?
ETB, yeah.
You're dead. You're just dead.
You're just dead. As 4 mana haste, I don't know if this is too strong, but it's definitely not fun. Right? There's like no interaction here, and like it's not even a creative combo, right? Like, what do? Okay, you Soul Ring, Entomb, or whatever, Jewel Lotus, just power this thing out, and you activate it and your opponent is dead.
And you only kill one person. So you got the fill problem where you got the one person that's sitting there for 2 hours, so everyone else continues.
You really ruined the commander game now, because now you removed one person, and then I don't know, like, it should not have haste. It should not have repeatable reanimation like this. Like,
I think it would have always had that problem, right? The fact that something like Leveler exists, and that's why you're running this card, right? Like, you're not doing this to just like give them a random value creature to goad them with. You're trying to do the utmost spice, and the utmost spice is Leveler. I feel like it's very cute on concept, hence why the speculators bought it out. But like, this is a deck that you assemble, you do it one time, you realize that it leads to unfun game, and then you immediately take apart your deck.
What if you don't realize it's unfun and you just keep doing it?
People will tell you.
It'll be pretty funny, like, to see it happen a decent amount of times.
One time.
But like, I'm just saying, you could just play Drawneath Magistrate and it never hits the board. But like legit though, I do think that like this is one of those things where, like, graveyard hate is going to be even more important. On top of that, like the repeat play patterns is like one of the biggest things that make me kind of like break a deck or stop playing a deck. Like I broke Yuriko pretty quick, all of that, and I think that this deck's gonna just hit that same play pattern. It's cool right now, but then it's gonna happen a lot, and then you're probably gonna get bored. I think the player will get bored before the pod will.
Is this CEDHable? You're like Cavern of Souls, Beamtown Bullies, right? You're dead. Like, I mean, in a meta where everyone's prepped with like swan songs and stuff, you're like, here's Beamtown Bullies. Like, can you get there?
You have to get a creature in your graveyard, right?
Is someone gonna force will your turn 1 Entomb? Like, like.
If you're on Beamtown Bullies,
I guess
probably,
they see the Beamtown
right?
Bullies in command zone, so they know what's about to happen.
You mental misstep that, and you're like, all right, good job not doing anything with your 4/4 Vigilant Haste. Maybe you'll smack somebody for 4.
The problem is that you'll only be able to kill one person, and that means 2 other people are going to try to Thoracle after you kill the like.
That's where the Hellcarve
you just throw down some Staxy pieces or something. I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I feel you could actually play this as like a tier 2-3 CDH deck and like get something done.
I think so.
I don't know. The haste is what really throws us off. Like, there's like no setup. Like,
they
no
just come down and
time.
kill someone. Yeah,
just comes down. Yeah. And you're in green. I mean, you're in Jund, so like odds are you can get this out turn 2 pretty understandably easily.
Even
turn 3 at the very least.
Make sure there's no removal coming down. I learned that with Dark Confidant and Modern. My main problem with this card is I think
season commander.
I feel like people. You could build a really fun deck with this. It could be a cool, like, goad group huggy style commander, but I think this is one of those commanders that people are going to get levelered once, and you're never going to be able to talk the table into the fact that you're doing that. You're playing the fair Beamtown Bullies. Like, it's not going to work. People are still going to be irrationally afraid of this, even if you're like, no, like, I'm just doing cool, like, goad things. My things have ETB, you lose 4 life or something. Like, that's what I'm doing. I'm not, like, trying to just one-shot you, but no one's gonna buy it. So
what's this fair goad you speak of? Like, what would you actually bring in here? Like a Thrag Tusk for your opponent? Like, what are you like, what are you doing here that they'll be happy about this?
Like lava hounds, like stuff that still has like a negative ETB, but like lava hounds is ETB, it damages you for 4, something like that. Like, you could do like not the I get you in 1 turn aspect of it, but like, oh, you get this back, you take 4, you gotta attack someone, they take 4, and kind of play this weird like bounce the damage around goad thing. But I think it's a cool
the problem
card
with this. Yeah, it is a cool card, but I think like if you wanted a goad deck, there's just simply better options for like a non take you immediately out of the game. Like Cardor exists and is very good at goading. If you want to still be in Jund, you have Thantis the Warweaver, which makes everybody attack every single turn. And if they attack you, you have a giant Thantis to block. So like, if you want that style of play and you want like a nice version of Beamtown Bullies, those already existed.
That's fair.
I mean, I think you get Eldrazi that can be reanimated. Like, there's some that have Annihilator on them, right?
Yeah.
And you're like, here, friend, king make someone, right? Like, annihilate someone into oblivion.
That works. Yeah, you get like some Annihilator 4 thingy that you entomb and go with them. Like it helps you immensely because you're just taking somebody out in a roundabout way.
The problem is once it's down to 1v1.
Yeah, but and then also the table is going to still hate you if you for dropping Eldrazi. It's not like, all right, well, you didn't one-shot me with Leveler, but you're still playing Eldrazi, so
that's what I'm saying. Like, in what world do we sit down like, oh, that's a cool deck, man? Like, what are you giving people such that they're pleased? Either they died due to the creature they got, or you're the other person at the table getting hit by the Annihilator 4 thing that just came into play on turn 3.
That's pretty
either
funny.
way,
I'm not gonna lie, that's
gonna be
pretty
upset.
funny.
It is funny for one game. Like I would like to see it happen.
I don't know.
Once,
I'm a
but then I
glutton
don't
for
need to see
pain
it again.
tomer. I can sit through a lot.
All right, I met you halfway, Krim. Watch out, next GP Richmond, the Krim's busting out. Hey guys, I have a Beamtown Bullies deck.
No, it has green. I'm not playing that.
All right. So just buyer beware on the Beamtown Bullies. If you didn't think that your deck would be hated out, it's going to be hated out. Just to be aware. Not that you'd be shamed from playing Beamtown Bullies, or like if there's certain tables where it's like people are totally cool with it, like that's fine. Just know that generally it's one of those commanders that have a target on your back, and there's a lot of those, right? So like we said that about Hinata and everything. Like there's nothing wrong about these commanders whatsoever. And if you're at a table full of high target arch enemy type commanders, you might not even be hit it out at all. Like if you're sitting by a Narset and a Hinata, maybe Beamtown Bullies goes under the radar. Who knows? But at other tables, though, you might have
until
to be
the
worried.
Leveler hits the graveyard or something like that. Then you're
and then
you're
things get real.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. Krim, what do you got for us?
Well, it's a 5 mana enchantment in it's 3 black-white. It's life insurance. Which has extort. Whenever you cast a spell, you may pay white or black. If you do, each opponent loses 1 life, and you gain that much life. But then it has, whenever a non-token creature dies, you lose 1 life and create a treasure token. So I think this is a sweet card, especially in board wipe tribal decks like that I play. I do not mind losing a bit of life. Because remember, it's not your creatures. It's just any non-token creature dies. You lose a life, you get a treasure. Simple as that. Wow! And I get to extort on top of that. This is now a win con. I now have a clock. This is great.
Well, I do like Krim decks having win cons. That I'll that's a good thing, I think. Please, we'll be able to kill me.
A win con, taking one
by Krim standards, yes.
Yes.
You know there is a light at the end of the tunnel. It's going to take a very long time, life by life point.
Yeah.
So, when I saw this card, I didn't think of playing it in a control deck with Razzle that sweet. I thought, oh, this is another Pitiless Plunder, which has like infinite combos. There's so many ways to go infinite with like Ashnod's Altar and a recursive creature, and then you throw this into the mix, and you got a Blood Artist, and you win the game. So I think the Krim plan is sweet, but I think this is also just like auto-include in Tisa Karlov, like those aristocrat combo-y Ashnod's Altar sacrifice style decks. I think it's going to be really, really good there too.
Yeah, Pitiless Plunder is like one of the most busted uncommons ever printed. And I think this is worse. It costs more mana, it's not a creature, and you lose a life each time you're making the token, which, I mean, it is a drawback, but it's not the biggest deal, but like, it's a more fair version of it, which I like. I still think that the card's super gas, though. Like, if I'm in an Orzhov Aristocrats deck, I'm running this card.
Oh, yeah.
I think.
So good.
I would play this fairly. Like, someone's gonna wrath the board, and you just cross your fingers and hope it's not farewell. Right? And
it's
you
always
win the game.
farewell. It's
right?
always
like,
farewell.
Like the upside of this card is you create like 20 treasures, take 20 life, but then you can extort your way back. Extort, like the most OP mechanic of all time, right? Like you gain 3 life when you extort.
For 1 mana, you just helix.
It's not the new fixed one where you only gain 1 life, right? You gain 1 life for each opponent that takes the damage. So I really like this card, and I can see Krim just plopping this. He's like, Krim was mana screwed on like 3 mana the whole game. He somehow makes it to turn 5, plops this down. Someone else wrasts the board, and then Crim wins off his like 30 mana out of nowhere, right? Like
Revel and Riches.
Revel and Riches, right? But now you can win with an
another-
actual win con with your mana, right? So, yeah.
I mean,
think it's
the other comparison is Black Market, which is actually like kind of similar. 5-mana enchantment, creature dies, it gets counters. Your upkeep, you get to remove those counters. So this is better. Treasures are better than getting a bunch of mana during your main phase. And that's a card people play fairly. Like, that's a card if you're playing just like something that's killing a lot of stuff, you just run it and you're like, I'm going to make a bunch of mana. So I think maybe Richard's right that you can also just play it in a fair deck, just like Black Market.
another reason to not run Farewell in your Orzhov deck.
Or a reason to still play Farewell, just because these
Yeah, you need to
resist.
get rid of your opponent's life insurance,
Yeah,
and
so-
then you put your own life insurance down.
That argument has the same, can be used for the counter argument.
Yeah, I don't buy a world where you don't play Farewell.
Yeah,
I just don't see it. I just don't see it. All right, moving on. Richard, what do you got for us?
All right, I have Spiteful Repossession, 4 and a red sorcery. It deals damage to each opponent who controls more lands than you, equal to the difference, and then create a number of treasure tokens equal to the damage dealt this way. So,
This is sweet.
as a fair land ramp hate card, I think this is kind of mediocre, right? Like in the best case, like let's say you bounce land your way in Lotus Field, like maybe you get like 4 or 5 damage and 4 or 5 mana out of this. But what if you Zern Orb and sacked all your lands, right? And then you Underworld Breach and do it again, right? And you can keep going, right? Like, I think this is like a very spicy finisher, and it's like turbocharged mana geyser that actually finishes the game. So I think there's a lot of cool shenanigans you can do with this. Maybe you do something fairly, but I wouldn't count
like
it.
that.
I think the unfair
I
way
was
is
just
No,
going to put
yeah.
this in Torbran. like it's just a fun, fair, like, burn spell, right?
Because it
They can also
triggers
ramp.
based on the amount of damage that's dealt.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay, so Torbrand would actually like give you more damage even if your opponent doesn't have that many more lands than you. I could
Right.
see that. That's pretty sweet. I hadn't really thought of Richard's combo. That's also, when I saw this card, I was kind of like, I like what they're trying to do, and I like that we're trying to punish the green ramp player, but I don't know if this card actually gets there. But now that I hear you guys talking about it, like, those ideas actually sound pretty appealing.
Should be 3 mana. This should be
I think it should have been less mana than this.
Yeah.
At 5, it's kind of oof. But I had an idea. So there's one tribe that really loves land deficiency, and that is the mighty Moonfolk. So you need to splash red,
Is there
right?
even is it Moonfolk?
You go. This is where finally Moonfolk gets to shine. I don't know what the commander is, but you splash it for Spiteful Repossession. You can return all the lands to your hand really easily with Moonfolk, and then you get max value. You don't need even to sacrifice them. Think about it.
Please do it, Tomer. Please kill somebody that just make some Prismari as a deck and just do it.
The value.
Even better is if it's like under the hidden under like a broken commander, like I'm playing Niv Mizzet, but then it's just all Moonfolk.
Too good.
There's got to be okay, I think you can one turn kill someone. You Spiteful Repossession, you fork it, you sack all your lands, and then you like Price of Progress or something. Like, should be enough. Maybe you Underworld Breach and do it all again. But like, I feel there's some combination of stuff you could do here that's like a reasonable looking win con. Worst case, what if you just you pull the Seth, you sack all your lands, you make the mana, then you just cast like a 10/10 and call it a day.
Like Comet Storm exists, right? Like you could just straight up there's so many easier ways to kill your opponents with damage.
This already does damage though. If you have 7 lands, you're taking 7 damage.
And then you just sacrifice all your lands. Like,
It's part of the combo.
I play it
part
in,
of
like,
the combo.
It'd be so good in my demon deck that I just played. Like,
Yeah,
it would
put it in
be
your
an all.
Rakdos deck.
I will throw this in my
What if
Rakdos
you
deck.
end this with the Jockalops?
Yeah. Even it out. This would be very good. Obliterate or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I kind of like it. And isn't there... What is a mechanic that makes you pick up all your lands? Do you remember?
Sweep.
Oh my god, that mechanic's
Sweep
so
from
bad.
Kamigawa.
Wait, there's a card that makes you pick up all your lands?
It's a mechanic.
It
Barrel
lets you
down
pick up all your lands,
Sokenzan.
yeah.
Sweep. Return any number of mountains you control to their owner's hands. It deals damage equal to a creature equal to twice the number of mountains. And each, it was a cycle.
Pick them up.
Oh my god,
Actually, it wasn't
this
even
is
a
perfect
cycle.
for Torbrand. Are you kidding me? This is amazing.
Oh wait, isn't
So
there
good.
that? What about Teferi's Realm? Can't you phase out all your lands? You phase out all your lands. Your opponents have their lands still. Then you cast this. Oh,
That might actually be the best one because it doesn't involve permanently losing.
yeah. You
all
still
your...
get to keep your mana and you maximize.
That's
this.
actually.
You
I actually
sweep,
like that.
you sweep, you Jockalops, you red in 7, slap all your lands back down.
Okay.
Man,
okay.
why don't we play more Teferi's Realm? Imagine you could just like Teferi's Realm and then Armageddon after you phase out all your lands.
Yeah,
we
it
said
actually does sound
land
pretty
destruction
sweet.
is not cool. So it's
Yeah,
fine.
well, yeah, usually because
That's what
we get yelled
that's
at
what
if
we
we
said.
do that.
Yeah,
But there's
okay,
so much
fine.
shenanigans you can do here. But I agree with Seth. As a ramp hate card is a little weak sauce, but I think there's some cool, fun things you can do with this card.
Green player, you ramp too much. I'm gonna deal a little bit of damage to you. Watch out! And then the green player wins next turn. I like it. This is very cute. This is what I'm here for. All right. Next up, we got. Oh, all right. So this might be my favorite card from the entire set. This is
Artwork is...
The artwork is also fantastic too. This is Smuggler's Share. It is a white enchantment that is both card advantage and mana generation for white. It's 2 and a white for an enchantment that says, at the beginning of each end step, draw a card for each opponent who drew 2 or more cards this turn, then create a treasure token for each opponent who had 2 or more lands enter the battlefield under their control this turn. So, if your opponents are land ramping, you get to make a treasure at the end step. If your opponents are drawing a second card on their turn, they draw 1 card for the draw step, and then if they draw another card on their turn, boom, you get to draw a card as well. Also, I guess instant speed if anybody's drawing cards as well too. If your opponent plays a fetch land and then cracks it immediately for a land, you get to make a treasure as well. So that's like a lot of card draw potential and treasure making potential in a 3-mana white enchantment. You can potentially be drawing multiple cards and or generating multiple treasures every single turn cycle with this. I think this card is actually bananas. It's like really good. And not only is it really good, but I actually think it's so much healthier than like I hate tax effects so much. I hate Smothering Tithe and I hate Esper Sentinel, and you all know this. But I absolutely hate the fact that it's trigger spam. I hate that every single time something happens, you have to hear do you pay the X? I think it slows down the game. I think it's just unhealthy for the format. It brings everything to a crawl. This doesn't have any of that. It just happens. You don't have to bicker about it. You don't have to talk about it. You don't have to be that you do pay the X. It just happens, and it doesn't interfere with the flow of the game at all. And it's really good. I think this card is like one of the best like passive, no hoops to jump through card advantage and mana generation in white. Like you don't have to be a token deck or anything. You just put this in a deck and it does its job, right? So I think this is like one of the coolest designs.
I really
printed.
need
My
to go.
favorite in the set.
I really need to go back and watch like a season of Commander Clash and just count how often this would trigger, because I really am trying to wrap my head around it. I feel like treasures you're not going to make that often, is my guess. Like you can play around it with fetch lands. It's good against the green player if you have it like on turn 3. So I think the treasures are kind of a bonus. The card draw, do you think you draw a card every turn cycle? Like are there enough Ristic studies and enough effects that you're going to get at least 1 card? If you get it your own personal Howling Mind out of this, where you're drawing an extra card every turn, the card's great. Like I think that's my floor. Like if this is my white Phyrexian arena, I'm thrilled with this card. Even if I never make a treasure, and if I get more than that, then that's even better. Then that's absurd. Will we, though? I think I'm scared because of monologue tax. Like monologue tax, you remember when people were all like, "Whoa, monologue tax! That card's gonna be so good," and then like it's trash. As Tomer said, it's trash, and no one actually plays it.
I said it was trash as soon as I saw that card came out, and then I said it was trash even more when people said it was good. This card, I'm saying, is going to be amazing. This card is going to be amazing, and I'm okay. I'm okay if you clip this in the future and make fun of me. But called shot, this card is going to be amazing.
Homer, you know we're mono white buddies, right? We like share views on like everything.
Of course, except for Cartographer Suck.
Secret Rendezvous and Smugglers share. There's so many hoops
What?
you gotta draw through. Like, just play Secret Rendezvous and call it a day. Like, I feel you're not gonna draw much off of this. Like, I think it will eventually cycle. Like, if you're alive 4 turns later, someone must draw 2 cards, right? And you will draw one. But I think if you play this on turn 3, you're not going to draw a card. You just spent 3 mana and did nothing. And you know what? If you don't have a green player that's not ramping, if people just play like mana dorks or mana rocks, it still does nothing.
What about if you just like you play your 4th land, it's a fetch land, and you need to play a 4-drop? Are you not going to crack the fetch land immediately and play your 4-drop because I'm going to make
maybe, or they play a 3-drop and fetch it on another turn, right? Like, you know, they don't have to.
You're not going to do that. You're going to go for it.
Let's say they do. You got 1. You spent 3 mana and made 1 treasure, right? On this,
then I put them back a turn.
That's not worth. I feel if you wanted to draw cards or ramp, you can just more aggressively play like a Worn Power Stone and call it a day, right? Like,
Worn Power Stone.
That's too conditional for me. I don't
really. You don't think you're going to draw at least 1 card per turn cycle off this?
Per turn cycle? No.
Yeah.
No.
You don't think there's going to be a Phyrexian Arena at the very least, as floor-wise?
You need to hope they have an arena. Then you just play Wedding Ring or something if you're going to do this, right? Like, if you're banking on your opponent's drawing so early.
Everybody draws cards.
If you combine it with...
I think that there are other ways to, like, draw cards. Now, like, I would just play a Welcoming Vampire over this, right? Like, I'd probably, like, guarantee that I draw something. But I don't know. I think that this card's pretty decent. I think it's a fun card.
I'm leaning towards Tomer's camp. I've been in the middle since like this started, and it's probably not quite as good as Tomer thinks, but I think it's better than Richard is giving it credit for. So I guess I'm in the middle. Also worth mentioning that you can pretty easily build around it, like Gaia Reach Sanitarium. Everyone loots. This is going to make sure that you're drawing a card, or like if you play a Howling Mind or something, if you have other effects that are doing that, your Secret Rendezvous is going to draw you an extra card on the end step. So there are ways that you can support it. I don't know, though. I want to go back and count up how many cards it would draw, because I really don't know. I need the data.
See this in action, because I'm certainly not trying it.
Well, hopefully it will be on Magic Online.
But I think it's pretty cool.
I'm going to clarify, though. I think this card is good, but I'm not going to say it's like better than Esper Sentinel or Smuggler's, whatever. What was it?
Is it better than Secret Rendezvous?
Just rank it on the white card draw
it's
scale.
Better than... Okay, Secret Rendezvous is the absolute bottom, and the top is like Esper Sentinel. Then I would put it somewhere in the middle. Like, is it as good as a Welcoming Vampire in a weenie deck? No, but the thing is, I would put this alongside a Welcoming Vampire in every single... I would put this in every mono white deck, is what I'm trying to say. I will put this in every mono white deck. Is it going to be the best card draw in every single mono white deck? No. Is it going to be the best ramp in any mono white deck? No, because there's going to be specialized cards that do the job better, and then there's also Esper Sentinel and Smothering Tide, which I think are mistakes and annoying, and I put them at the very top because they're the best. But this is solid middle, and good enough for me to put it in any mono white deck. If I'm playing mono white, this goes in.
I'm gonna try it in every mono white deck, but I'm not 100% sure if it'll work out as much as I want or not. So I'm gonna start off playing this like White Phyrexian Arena, and we'll see how many cards it draws. If it is White Phyrexian Arena, it stays in 100% of the time. If I end up drawing a card every 3rd turn or 4th turn, then it's getting cut.
Wait a minute, though.
That's where I'm at, too.
Who was not in the Phyrexian Arena camp? Because
Richard, but he's been won over. I've won him over to the power.
I don't think Phyrexian Arena is good either. But a white Phyrexian Arena is good.
I'm
If you're
not
still in the
high
camp
on,
that
on
white can't draw a card,
Phyrexian Arena.
if you come with the perspective that white is desperate for card draw, I would believe you will 3 mana YOLO and hope you draw cards. But white draws enough cards that I don't need to
draws
gamble.
cards.
Right? I don't need
What
to
do you
take a
mean?
flip on this.
How many turn cycles do you go where nobody draws a card, an extra card? Like, that's crazy to me.
I don't know.
On turns
that's
2,
why I wanna
3,
go
4,
count it.
5. Like I don't think there's that much extra card draw happening.
But then there's
Same
going
with
to
the
be
ramp. Like deficit
I don't
ramp I can
believe it.
control. This one I gotta hope you ramp or have a fetch land. Like
I
you know,
don't
I'm just
believe it.
hoping you do it, right? So
All
I
right,
don't,
we'll see. We'll see. So this is
I
actually
will see.
interesting.
I see what Tomer's saying. I think I like what Tomer brings up here, and I do think it is kind of like a white Phyrexian Arena. Although, like in black, there's just better things to do than Phyrexian Arena. But I think in white, not that white doesn't have card draw, it's just that I think this is like a white getting a Phyrexian Arena is pretty sweet. So
Don't.
It's
This
like-
is where
it's-
Phyrexian Arena, Graham. Phyrexian
Well,
Arena is
like
great.
we all agree, Welcoming Vampire is very good card draw. It's like one of the best card draw in white, but
Right.
it'll only draw one card per turn cycle usually. I don't
but
think it's
you can trigger it yourself. You don't need to wait for anyone
yeah, you
to
can
do
trigger
it
it
for
yourself,
you.
but that's good. I think this is going to trigger once per turn cycle on average,
And there will be
and that's
games
all
where,
it needs to do.
and there'll be games where someone has a Ristic Study or something, and you're just like drawing 3, 4 cards. You're just drawing all the time. Like those games are going to happen too on
Seth,
occasion.
if there was a smuggler's
No.
share on the battlefield and a Ristic Study, do you pay the one?
no,
Oh no!
you gotta have a
just let
code.
everyone draw cards.
So
You gotta
Seth
have a
is going to
code.
have the smuggler share, and then he's going to be
Yes.
like, "Well, now I never pay for it."
Exactly. Now I have a defense.
every day we move closer and closer to why I justify the unbanning of all breach.
So Seth is going to be like, well, if it's my opponent's turn and I cast 2 spells into Ristic Study, then he draws 2 cards, and then I get to draw a card off Smuggler's Share. See, winning.
That sounds like a combo.
This should be a card in your deck, Seth. Yes, this is an auto include in every one of your decks.
Yeah.
This card
All
is
right.
really expensive for pre-order, so I think most people are in Tomer's camp here. Like they're
Yeah.
expecting this to be good.
Yeah, but if I just don't want team what was it the bad one? Because I
Monologue
was
tax.
Oh, monologue
as soon
tax,
as that
yeah.
was previewed, I said that was bad, and I had to fight a lot of people. A lot of content creators are also being like, "Oh my god, about the card number," but no, it wasn't. And this one though, I will put my reputation on to say it's good.
I think there's potential for it to be
It's-
good. We will have to
I think
see
it's
how it
decent.
goes.
We'll see. We'll see. I'm excited. Please, if there can be any one card that shows up on Magic Online from my hype list, I want this one.
Turns out it's
I
not a
want to
vote,
see.
we'll never know.
My reputation can never be tarnished then. That's the next level play. Haha. All right, moving on. Seth, what do you got for us?
We got a card that, for some reason, I just really like. I think the card's probably horrible, but it's unique, and it does just some different kind of stuff. And that card is Life of the Party. It's a 4-mana 0/1 elemental. It has first strike and trample and haste. And when it attacks, it gets +X/+0 until end of turn, where X is the number of creatures you control. And then, when it enters the battlefield, if it's not a token, everyone else gets a copy of it, and those copies are goaded for the rest of the game. So on one hand, this is a sweet, like, token card where if you can go really wide, you play this, it comes down with trample and haste and first strike, smashes over for a whole bunch of damage by surprise. The part that's intriguing to me is the giving it to all of your opponents. Like, giving your opponents each one of these, and because they have 0 tough power, they can't just, like, block each other in combat, so they're actually kind of hard to deal with, and your opponents are just going to have to smash each other, and then, the way it's worded, it's actually, like, blinkable, flickerable, and you can just keep, like, ephemerate and give your opponents more copies and more copies until eventually your opponents just have this huge army that you gave them that has to attack each other every turn, and the whole table's gonna kill themselves. So I think it's actually it's a really just a different, cool, super fun design. I don't expect it to actually be super good, but I'm excited to try to build a deck that's like, how many times can I blink this? How many of these can I give to everyone else? Can I make the table like kill themselves essentially?
I love this card. So one of my favorite political cards was Rite of the Raging Storm. It's an old card, 2015, I think.
Card is hilarious.
And that one is an enchantment for 5, and it basically gives on each person's turn, it gives them a 5/1 elemental creature. that has to attack one of your opponents. It's basically goad, proto goad. It has to attack somebody that isn't you. And it also had trample and haste, and it's basically what Life of the Party kind of did before. You always get a token and it always dies at the end of the turn. So like you can't just like kill the token and now it's gone forever. You have to remove the enchantment. But this one, I think I even like it even more just because of Seth's blink idea, where like I think once you start blinking it and getting like more and more and more of them on the battlefield, there's not just one token that you have to deal with. There's not just like one enchantment that you blow up and now it's gone forever. There's just like everybody has them, and they're just smashing faces, and you're just basically you're dealing indirect damage to everybody at the table, which is, I don't know. This is really funny. I like it a lot.
I think it's funny. I think it's pretty funny. That was exactly what I was thinking of right of the Raging Storms, and this feels like it'd just be another fun version of it. And, you know, I would try this in my Chaos deck. Deck.
It works in Chaos, I think.
Yeah, like I think it I always, that's one of the first few things I do, see what can go in Chaos, and I think this is probably one of the biggest contenders for my Chaos deck from all the new stuff that I've seen.
I wish it wasn't plus X and it was a fixed number, because I feel this is a king-makey card. Whoever has creatures like wins out of this exchange, right? You will just murder everyone. And then if you're Crim there with 0 creatures, like, yeah, I attack with my 1/1. Here's my revenge, right?
Crim's revenge.
I wish it was a fixed amount, like Ride of the Raging Storm. But I feel this is like, if there's a green player that's going wide or something, Avengers Zendikar, or they have like a beefy blocker, I feel this really king makes them. So I don't know.
I think why they had to do it this way is if you gave it fixed power, then they all just smash into each other and die. This way they actually might stick around for a little bit. But I do know what you're saying. It's going to be way stronger for some players than others.
+5 +0 instead of +X +0.
Okay,
I'm actually a little bit worried because they can block. I kind of wish they couldn't block, because my fear would be like, you play Life of the Party, and then all your opponents agree, like, okay, I'm going to attack into you. They all have first strike, and they will all have
kill
one
each other
power,
off.
so you could just have them all kill each other off. Which was kind of reminded me of that saga that Richard played with
that was
Rats.
horrendous.
We also took out everybody as rats.
I was like, wait, this didn't work at all.
Although
I'm a little bit worried about that, but
I guess you still get in some damage at least because it has trample.
Yeah.
So at least even if you do the chump block thing, you're getting one shot in. But that is a good point that people are going to try to trade them off.
you have to do something like the enchantment that says nobody can block.
Also,
really
can't you just confusion in the ranks?
Yeah,
No!
There you go. Also seems good with
Please, no.
Go decks if you're playing Kazakar or something.
It curves from confusion in the ranks. Oh my god, that's so good. Seth, yes.
Yes.
No. This is a good
Next
thing, because
Chaos
then
week.
every day,
I can't make it, I'm sorry.
Tomer and Seth now are slowly, the meter's moving. They're all going to become Chaos players, and it's going to be fun.
I'm
I'm going to be busy for sure.
Yeah.
I'm definitely sick on that day.
All right. Moving on. Krim, what do you got for us?
Well, okay. This is actually I love the commanders, like Angelo and all of them, right? But this is probably the card I am the most excited for, like, out of all the precons. And I know this is kind of weird, but it's just a very simple creature. It's Cephalid Face Taker. It's 2 blue. It's a Cephalid rogue. Can't be blocked, and at the beginning of combat on your turn, you may have Cephalid Face Taker become a copy of another target creature until end of turn, except it's a 1/4 and has this creature can't be blocked. So I really like this creature because, A, we haven't seen Cephalids in a while. I don't think I've seen it since, like, Torment. It's been a long time since I think the last time we saw that. It's a rogue, and it does all the rogue things I love. It's got the unblockable, and then on top of that, it can become another creature. Of course, the creature itself isn't a rogue unless I copy a rogue, but I just love this. I think the unblockable part, this is like my favorite little low to the ground, like kind of, evasive, cheap blue threats that I love. So this is just falls right in line with that. It's a rogue. It's got all the relevant types. And anything that says can't be blocked, I will automatically look at and consider, is this worth putting in one of my decks? Just because I love little can't be blocked creatures. Why? Because that all dates back to my love for Shadow Mage Infiltrator, essentially.
That doesn't look like a cephalid. That does not look like a cephalid.
Yeah, I gotta veto this card. This is not a cephalid. This is like an insult. To squid people.
It is a cephalid, but it just looks like a human.
Taking somebody's face. But that's not its real face. That's the whole thing.
Yeah, that face is it cloning something else.
That's like it's like the movie Face Off, where like they're taking somebody else's
Cage.
face.
Yeah, this is just pretty
Nick
much
Cage and the other guy. I forgot his name.
Yeah, and like they did redesign the cephalids though, but I don't think it looks bad. It looks cool.
This is like redesigning slivers, man. Like, where's Phil? Where's Deep Sea Monster guy? Like, come on, we're like giant calamari things, okay? Like,
look at
what happened here?
It does have sliver vibes, right? It has like M14 sliver vibes. I do get that a lot.
Remember we had that conversation of why there aren't enough races or something, and we're like, oh, maybe they need to look like humans, so we. We feel closer to them. Here it is. You took a squid and turned them into a human, man. Come on.
But I think the rework on cephalids looks cephalids, if you would, like where they all just look like saffron olive. But no, legitimately, all the cephalid reworks, I think they look better than like how the sliver reworks looked.
Well, that's not a very high bar.
I agree with that. That's very low.
I mean, okay.
So as far as this card, it reminds me of MindLink Mech. Maybe not quite as strong, but a lot of the same shenanigans.
It's better than MindLink Mech.
Well, part of the power of MindLink Mech is it makes it a 4/4. So if you want to like Cephalid Constable someone and bounce 4 permanents, this like isn't going to do that.
Yeah.
But it does similar stuff where if you want to be getting in with a creature that has a powerful attack trigger but isn't very good at attacking, like a Freet Flame Painter is a really good example. Like busted combat damage trigger. You can cast any instant or sorcery from your graveyard for free, but it's really bad at actually getting in because it's a 1/4, so it's easy to block. This is great with stuff like that. So I think building around it in a similar way to MindLink Mech, I think it's a really cool card for just like forcing through combat damage with stuff that's not very good at getting in combat damage.
Seth is so combo oriented. I'm just like, ooh, unblockable, and I can maybe make it another I don't know, Lord effect or something, right? Like, ooh, I can turn this into like a soaring thought thief. Oh,
my bitter blossom token.
Master of Cruelties. That's what you need here.
Ooh.
Master of Cruelties is sweet. That's another thing you can do. It's already a 1/4, so it's a natural fit. But I love me some unblockable.
Is it legendary?
Things.
No, it's not. Right?
No,
I mean, you can
not.
like. You can do some nasty things with this. Like you could like copy a Port Raiser, for example, unblockable Port Raiser, take 3 extra combat steps.
Ooh.
I mean that's pretty spicy. I like how open ended it is.
Why are y'all trying to make it broken? Just make it fair. Just play it fairly. Just a 1/4.
Well, that's just
this is a CDH channel, Krim. I'm sorry.
I mean, it is good with equipment, I guess. Like unblockability works well there. I can see that.
Or it's just a soaring thought thief.
I don't know about this fair.
I don't know about this fair plan.
Oh, I love invisible. I love invisible.
You can copy
Stalker.
a scroll thief and draw a card off.
Yeah, you can. Or it's opposition agent number 2 for some odd reason that you need it on attack. I just love it because it's like unblockable and it's a rogue and it can copy anything. So I think that it is very versatile in what it can copy. If it were maybe like I think I'd like it less if it were just only your stuff, but I think it can copy anything, and I like that. That's
I'm gonna copy a real cephalid and change the art.
I'm okay with the news. Like, do I like them as much as the Dominaria cephalids? No, but I mean, planes are allowed to have different versions of the same species. We've seen that.
Yeah, it's like region locked Pokemon.
Would they be a
this is
different
like an
species?
Alolan cephalid.
No,
that's what it is.
We've seen goblins on different planes look different. Like there's like the Bogarts on Lorwyn, and then there's like I don't know, normal goblins.
Wizards already got
back
me
to
the white
Dominarian,
dwarves.
they look like-
now we got
they look
these
like those
cephalids on New
squiddies.
Capenna.
Whatever.
Or wait until we get the saffron olive plane again. Cephalids are going to be everywhere.
All right. Moving on. Richard, what's a card that you're fond of?
All right. Indulge Excess split card, or Aftermath card. 2 and a red sorcery. When a creature you control attacks this turn, create a 1/1 green and white citizen creature token that's tapped and attacking. Aftermath is 2 mana. Create a treasure token for each creature you control that dealt combat damage to a player this turn. Oh, speaking of insane ramp, you just like doubly go wide, and then you get infinite mana after combat if you hit people to take an extra combat or do whatever you want, right? Like you're just getting free mana out of like nothing. I think it's insanely broken. I don't know why they're green white citizens in a red deck, but sure.
I love like how we were talking about just like this is a fun, casual, friendly card. And Richard's like, all right, here's the most busted card we can think of.
I mean, this card is really strong, right? Like, I feel like this card is very strong in a token deck. Yeah, being a token, most likely in a token deck is where it would shine. But if you're going wide, like it doubles up your tokens and then it doubles or makes a ton of mana. Seems like I would just jam that, and it fits well with the theme of Naya in Streets of New Capenna because it's all about going wide. It's all about doing that. So I think it's a nice upgrade for decks like that.
Wasn't there a flip card enchantment in Ixalan that did something similar on a lot the Aftermath side? Like it was like you attack, you make treasures, and then if you have X number of artifacts, you flip it and it becomes Tolarian Academy or something.
Yeah, that one was really bad, though. I think that's when you deal combat damage. Let me look it up. It's called Storm the Vault. When one or more creatures you control deal combat damage, create a treasure token. So one a turn, essentially. And then you can flip into... But this does offer, like, a huge burst of mana and, like, combo potential and all that unfair stuff. Plus, the front side, I don't really like that well, I guess with this card it makes sense. Normally, I don't like the tapped and attacking thing just because your tokens end up chump blocking or chump attacking so much. But with this card, it's probably worth it because you're just trying to get as many hits in so you can make as many treasures as possible. It's like Dockside. Dockside like that makes you attack.
Condo. Was it Cedar Condo? The partner one that like makes your weenies unblockable. Plus a red one, or like just Adeline and this thing. Right, you have a
Invasion
deck.
plus like what's it called? The thing that's you probably don't even need evasion if you have enough attackers. You just the thing that's like you pay. It's an enchantment. And you pay 5 and you take an extra combat. Yeah, and then excess will just pay the 5 over and over again, and you just win.
Oh, what about like Krenko or any of the go wide like red decks? Yep. Oh, probably like absurd there.
Yeah. This card's good.
Very good.
Why Wizards has decided that mana rules don't apply anymore, and that we'll just randomly make like 1 million mana on turn 3, like for fun. Like, why not? So, yeah, here we are.
Yeah. This card's pretty good. I think this card's pretty good.
It's all right.
I don't know. It's not unblockable, though. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, that's true.
No, I think the card's sweet. The Aftermath side is like absolutely cracked. So I'm excited to see what becomes of this.
All right, we'll move on to the final card, number 12, and this is my pick, and this is another white card that I like, and guess what? It draws cards. That's why I like it. Aerial Extortionist. I have a type, you guys. This is a 5 mana, 3 and double white bird soldier, 4/3 with flying. That says, whenever it enters the battlefield or deals combat damage to a player, exile up to 1 target non-land permanent. For as long as that card remains exiled, its opponent may cast it. And then whenever another player casts a spell from anywhere other than their hand, draw a card. So basically, if your opponents are casting spells from exile, you get to draw a card. If your opponents cast a spell from the command zone, you get to draw a card. If they get to cast a spell like flashback or something from the graveyard, you get to draw a card. You're passively drawing a bunch of cards on this 4/3 that immediately enters the battlefield and exiles something. So it's like soft removal, where you remove something and your opponents still have access to it, but they do have to pay that mana again. So it's a nice way of kind of like slowing down your opponents. Every single time you're attacking with it as well, you get to exile another thing. So it's repeat removal that will delay your opponents because they have to recast a thing. And when they recast a thing, you get to draw another card, and you're just passively drawing a bunch of cards off this. I think this card is like, the beauty of this card is I think this card is not only like just very good card advantage and soft removal, but again, it just fits in any white deck. Again, like you don't have to be a token deck, you don't have to be a whatever deck. You just put this in, and now whatever white-based strategy you were going for, now you have card draw for it, which is something that white was lacking. Like if you had to be in a certain archetype to draw cards, and now white just has like, boom, you want generic card draw? Play this. And it also has removal attached to it. We were always talking about play more removal. Well, what if our card draw had removal attached to it? Yay!
Removal didn't work.
What do you mean?
This is another one I'm like super on the fence on. Like, do you draw enough? So you hit with... So you draw from commanders being cast. You draw from maybe its own ability. I guess it's great against Prosper. If you got a Prosper player in your playgroup, this card's like absurd. Like there's certain matchups where it'll be great.
What about like casts and stuff cast from the graveyard?
Yep. So there's matchups where it gets even better. Do you think in the dark is it enough? How many times is a commander cast on average in a game? 1.5? Is that what the stats are? 1.7, 1.6? Like, but this is 5 mana, so some casts might have already happened, and it has to stick on the battlefield. This is another one I'm planning on trying, and I hope it's great, but I'm still not sure if it'll actually like stick or not until I actually get to play with it and get to like feel like, is this drawing me 2-3 cards a game? Awesome, that's totally worth it.
Yeah.
Is it drawing me 1 card every other game?
I think it'll draw a couple cards, and it's going to slow down your opponents. That's my hypothesis.
I mean, a couple
cards.
I know
Richard's
it's Muldrifter then, right? White Muldrifter if it draws 2? Okay.
No.
But it also I know Richard's got me on this one. It's a bird, Richard. It's a bird.
I was going to say, it is a white card. It is a bird.
It holds a Dowsing Dagger. It has flying. Come on.
A 5-drop that draws 3 cards spread over multiple turns conditionally.
It's like 10 times better than Cartographer's Power.
It's not playable. It's not playable. I don't want to play this.
No,
It's removal.
bird.
So the only removal that works for it is like if Phil does a stupid like Soul Ring, Mana Crypt, Jeweled Lotus, my commander comes out, you exile it, then it's good. But this is a 5-drop, right? So if you exile anything, they could probably recast it like no problem. So I don't count it as removal.
That's where I'm at with Richard. Like, this card read really good to me, but that's because my illiteracy made me think that said flash, not flying.
Flash would be a lot better.
If this had flash, I think this would be way better. I don't know. When I say play removal, I mean play it at also instant speed. If I'm going sorcery, I may as well sweep the board, right? So, like, I like this, and I like what it does. I think it has a very cool effect. I just don't like its cost, and I don't like that it doesn't have flash. I think they should have totally had flash, or at least be like 4 mana. 3 or 4 mana.
It used to be a 3 mana 2/1, and then this would be really good. But at 5
I think
mana,
you guys are grossly underestimating this.
You're a big believer in reusing your Spirited Companion, Richard. What about just like playing this, blinking your own Spirited Companion, recast it, draw a card?
You only draw off Spirit Companion. You don't draw off the triggers.
Right.
Your opponent has to
it's
cast
whenever
an exile,
another player.
right? Yeah.
But you get to reuse your ETB trigger. Not
at
enough.
5 mana, this is what I'm doing. Like, okay, I know we always talk how like commanders too fast, but I'm like at 5 mana, like surely there's something better than this I could be doing, right? Like,
can't you just flicker wisp?
Hoping to draw cards, like 3 cards maybe.
So
I do
annoy everyone mildly, but not
is,
enough to stop them from killing me. Right?
Its closest analog is Ghostly Pilferer, which is 2 mana, and it basically has its triggered ability of whenever somebody casts a spell outside of their hand, you draw a card. And I've always found Ghostly Pilferer very good, but like the main advantage of Pilferer, I think, is that it comes out on turn 2, so you usually get it out before your opponents get a chance to play their commanders. So you're guaranteed to get like at least some off your opponents casting their commanders. And this is slower, but it has flying, it has repeat removal effect. It slows down your opponents.
I don't know if we can call that removal. Can you call that removal? Does that even count as removal if your opponent can just recast the spell?
If I exile like a 5-drop of yours, you're probably going to have to spend a lot of your next turn to recast it if you want it again.
I really do like that part of it. And the fact that when it connects, it can do it again.
Okay.
It's a
like
lot
if
of
you
mana.
had
This is
5
a lot of
planes,
mana.
Aerial Extortionist, is that a keep? Right? But if you had 5 islands, Ristic Study, you're like snap keep, right? Like that thing is drawing me cards.
Like, yeah, okay.
5 lands,
Study.
Ghostly Pilferer, like, yeah, you can actually draw cards off that. But like this thing is so maybe, right? Like maybe you draw cards, maybe you don't.
I am concerned that the first round of people casting their commanders might be over by the time you get this down. And that does kind of like minimize its power.
But then you remove them with its ETB, and then they have to recast it. Boom. got 'em.
And you can
I do like it
block
on
the other
Moto.
commander.
On Moto, you get potential like misclick value where people accidentally put it into like the real exile zone or the command zone, and then you got them. So
That's me. That's 100. Like, if you play this on Moto, this is an S tier card against me because there's a 90% chance I will misclick.
You'll put it in the command zone, and then you'll pay the command tax on it. Got him. And that's just true removal.
So yeah, if you play me on Moto with this, you're very likely to get even more value than it.
Slap some haste on this. You get 2 removal triggers immediately the turn you cast it. I think this card's really good.
I think it's good.
We'll find out. Well, maybe, hopefully, if it goes online. But these, like, Smuggler's Share and Aerial Extortionist, I think are kind of just insane cards. Insane as in, like, they're very medium for any mono white deck.
So they're mid.
Which makes them insane. makes them insane.
Well, it makes it insane for white decks.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
not,
It's
that's
like you don't have-
why are you happy
see what
playing
you're saying.
medium cards in your deck? You could just play
Because
the
it's
good
white,
cards that match
Richard.
your archetype.
Because it's white, all right? I'll take
But
what I
white
can
already
get,
has
all right?
good removal and efficient removal.
But this is card
This should
draw.
have flash. You know this should have flash. This card
I'll
should.
take what I can get. I think this card is gas. I think
5
you
mana, this
guys,
should have
I want to
flash.
show you guys.
The biggest thing
It's
is
a bird, Richard. I can't even believe you. This is like one of the best birds ever printed. And
It's
Richard's just,
unplayable.
like,
It's
sleeping
5
on
mana.
it.
what really scares me is Richard doesn't like any of these mono white cards, and Richard
I know. What's
Richard
going on?
knows mono white better than anyone I know. So that does make me think.
I'm surprised Tover's so desperate for card draw in mono white. Like, he's played mono white and drawn like his entire deck several times this season. I don't know why we're going to like 5 mana conditional
I need
maybe
more.
draw card, right? Like,
I need more because so you need to play these medium card draw spells so you can draw into your insane card draw spells consistently, Richard. That's I'm not even memeing. That's the reason why I run so much card draw is because like I'm trying to find the busted white cards consistently.
all right. So on turn
Nobody
7,
believes me.
you'll
All
rip
right,
off
let
your
me know
card
in the
draw.
comment section below. Have I gone crazy? Have I gone crazy?
I mean, Smuggler
Let me
Share,
know.
I can
I'm-
see.
I'm there
Aerial
with you,
Extortionist,
Smuggler
I gotta
Share.
really think. I gotta really twist my twist my
All right,
thinking here.
We'll see how it goes. All right, so
One
that
could
was.
say Tomer could block this with how much he's reaching. I'm sorry, Seth.
You'll see. I'll jam on a white as soon as Capenna comes out, and if these cards are available, oh boy, I'll show you. All. All
That's
right.
going to be the most disciplined player that week, not casting any spells, passing every turn.
Well,
Paying
you
the
know,
line
I'm never going to
every
draw a
time.
card off his commander because he doesn't believe in casting them. So
There's an Esper
it's already at a
Sentinel,
handicap
a
there.
study, all of this, so Tomer just doesn't play Magic.
Yeah, that week
All
I'm paying
right.
the 1 week 1 week exception to the rule.
All right, so we covered 12 cards that we are personally hyped for. Again, this is not a power level ranking or anything. It's just what we're personally super hyped to get our hands on and start immediately playing. So obviously, our lists are probably going to be very different from what you are interested in and what you are most excited for. So we'd love to hear from you. What are your favorite cards from the new Commander sets and even the standard sets as well? Let us know in the comment section below. I'd love to check out to see what everybody else is hyped for as well. That's it, everybody. That's our show. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed it. M2GMerch.com if you want to support us. And until next time, friends. See ya!